Hey, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Michelle. Thank you so much for coming by to hang out with us today. So for today's video, this is going to be kind of like a collective tri-monthly makeup haul. And I'm going to be applying some stuff while I'm talking about all the things. But some of the stuff is new, so it's going to be a first impression. Like, we're just going to do a mashup video here. It's going to be a lot of stuff in one. I don't get a chance to film very often, so when I do, you all get a monster of a video, a very long video, so I doubt this one's going to be any different. I got a pile of stuff sitting over here that I've accumulated since the beginning of January. I've done a lot better this year than I have done in prior years in terms of spending and buying makeup, but here over the past couple weeks, struggling a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to share that stuff with you. I have the new Natasha Denona Pastel palette. I've got the new MAC mascara. I've got some newness and just some stuff I've kind of accumulated. So if that sounds interesting, that's what we're going to be doing. Please be sure to stick around. But if you're just now making it to my channel and you're not subscribed yet and you enjoyed this video while you're watching it, please be sure to tap that subscribe button before you leave. Ring the notification bell while you're at it so you don't miss future uploads. Let's get into this video. So I guess the easiest way for me to do this is cycle through things in order of application, since I'm going to be applying some stuff for you all today. So before we jump into the makeup, let's talk about anything non-makeup related. Back about a month ago or so, I tried a hair sample product, and when I got done, when I got out of the shower, my hair was so soft and silky, and I had to have this product. But I failed to remember that I had also used the Olaplex, whatever that spray-on stuff is. I can't remember the number of it. If I remember, I'll put something on screen so you know which one I'm talking about. But I think that's what made my hair so soft. So my experience was a little bit skewed. Anyhow, it was the day conditioner, just the day hair conditioner. This stuff isn't cheap. I think this little bottle's like 15 bucks, which is kind of crazy. It's not bad. The Olaplex treatment really made it like next level. By itself, it's okay. It's not worth $15 in my opinion, but it's okay. Olaplex, the treatment, that's what I need. That's what I should have bought. I should have bought that instead of this. But I'll use it up. I'm already halfway through it. It's not terrible. I don't know how I forgot that. I don't know how I forgot that I used that before the conditioner. And then the other thing that I bought that was non-makeup related is the Beauty Blender from Ulta. So Ulta's doing their 21 Days of Beauty right now. Not sure if they still will by the time I get this uploaded, but as of right now they are. And the Beauty Blender was half off. So I won't spend $20 on a Beauty Blender because I think that's insane. But the Beauty Blender has my heart. It's my favorite sponge. I don't really like any of the other ones. I like the texture of this one. Call me a snob, whatever. It's just how I am with my sponges. So I have a plethora of beauty blenders on my stand, and I always buy them when they're on sale. I refuse to pay $20 for a sponge. So it was half off, 10 bucks. I bought one. Okay, so let's move into some stuff that I can actually apply. So in my little trip to Ulta yesterday, I was walking around looking at all the NYX products, and I came across the NYX Marshmallow Primer. And you know what? I didn't look at the price of this when I bought it, which was really stupid. I just kind of was like, oh, it's exciting, it's different, it's new, and I bought it. This freaking primer is $17. This is NYX. That's like luxury pricing. Well, maybe not luxury, but that's like higher end pricing. Like, what the hell? So anyway, I tried it briefly yesterday. I just kind of put it on as I was trying some other stuff, but I didn't do a wear test, or I didn't really pay too much attention to how it was working. I just wanted to put it on my face, you know? So anyway, I'm going to use this today as my primer. Okay, I decided to put on an actual shirt instead of wearing a bathrobe in every single video that I film with you all. That's a little bit better. I feel a little bit more put together. Okay, before I put on that NYX primer, I also wanted to share with you that I purchased the Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1 Whipped Matte Makeup. I bought this from Target, I believe, and I've tried something similar to this before. What was it? It's basically like a tinted silicone primer, BB cream, but not really. I don't know how to describe this. It's bizarre. Let me show you really quickly. It's one of them. You know what I mean? Like, it's Definitely silicone based. It's not a heavy coverage or anything like that. It's very smoothing, but I don't know, man. Silicones are really weird on my skin because I'm oily, so they don't wear very long. But it's pretty cool in the fact that it's very smoothing, and it does have a little mild tint to it. So I don't know. I need to try it out some more. I can't really give my full thoughts on it, but I wanted to share with you that I purchased it. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is take this NYX Marshmallow Primer and just get that on the face, and then I will share with you a foundation that I grabbed. So yesterday when I was using this, it's kind of thick. It has a really sweet smell to it. I guess there's like marshmallow, I don't know what it's, marshmallow root. Whatever that is. It is a little hydrating. Isn't my typical type of primer. Usually I'm going for something a little bit more mattifying. Just wanted to try something new, you know? It does sink into the skin though. Yeah, it's different. I don't know how to describe that. It's sweet. We'll let that sink in a little bit, and I'm going to share with you the few complexion products that I got. So, the one that I'm going to be trying on today for you all and doing a little bit of a wear test, because the other time that I tried this, did I wear it to work? I may have. I honestly don't remember. This is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. It's their newest one, and I have mine in the shade L2 Mont Blanc. It's not really the right match for me. It oxidizes a little bit, I've noticed, but we're going to use this today. I also grabbed the Makeup Forever HD Skin. It's their new replacement for the Ultra HD foundation, and this one is way off base. Way too light. I don't know why I do that. I think that I'm like 10 shades lighter than what I actually am. I mean, I'm a light skin tone, fair to light, but not this fair, okay? So I've been having to mix this in with other things. And so far, this one's okay. I don't think I like it as much as I liked the other formula, but it's not bad. I do need to wear it a little bit more to be able to give you like a full opinion on it. But that's that. And then I had also grabbed the Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream. I've seen so many people rave about this. I got it off Amazon for like 10 bucks. Mine's in the shade 13. And this one is a very beigey shade. Like very beige. Wasn't expecting it to be so beige. It's, again, a little too light. I don't know why I keep doing that. You all will have to let me know what you think about the lighting. My panel light finally came in. That's what's behind the camera, so it's going to be a little different from what you all are used to seeing. At least I hope it is. Let me know if you see any difference at all, if it looks better, worse, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and get into this foundation now. You know what? I didn't put on the Becca Under Eye Corrector. Let me do that first. I can't forget to do that. Okay, I'm just going to use my fingers to put the Becca Under Eye Corrector on. Usually I use a brush, but rude. I'm looking at my skin to try to see if that primer did anything. It doesn't really look like it, if I'm just being 100% honest. I mean, my skin looks, not dewy. I don't know. I really can't tell the difference. Okay, now that my under eyes look bright and crazy, let's move it along to this foundation. Finally. So, like I said a little bit ago, it's not a perfect shade match for me. It does oxidize and turn a little bit on the, like, warm side, which is weird because this is kind of a very neutral looking foundation. I don't know why it pulls so warm. Now, the other day when I tried this out, the thing I noticed about it that I liked the most is it's very, very lightweight. It has some coverage to it. It's definitely not full coverage. It's supposed to be like one of those skincare infused type of foundations, I believe. Don't make me a liar. I'm pretty sure it is. But it's very, very lightweight, which I like because normally my foundations are pretty heavy since I like full coverage. Something else that I notice is that it sits very beautifully on the skin. Like, it doesn't look overly makeup-y and heavy, which again is not something I'm used to since I like full coverage. I just worry about longevity with stuff like this since my skin is so oily, but you can already see that it's oxidizing. It's so weird. Especially how quickly it does, in my opinion. Yeah, you can tell from that little blob there to what I already blended out. It's just two different tones. See it? Because right on, it's a good shade match, and then it oxidizes on me. It's like, shit. Now the sponge has eaten up quite a bit of it because it's very liquidy. But that's okay. It's got pretty decent coverage now that I'm looking at it, though. Wow. Then again, I've put on quite a bit, so. Oh, I got a hair. It does sink in those lines, especially when you build it up as much as I did. But that, you know, it is what it is. So I am going to set this eventually because it's not going to wear very long if I don't. But again, I have to stress how lightweight it feels. Even with how much I put on, it just feels super lightweight. It's very fresh looking. Like, I really wish I was able to wear my foundation like this. I wish I didn't have to set it. But I want it to wear longer than 30 minutes, so it's kind of is what it is. We got to do something about that. That's killing me. So before I put some concealer on, I'm going to tap out these lines. That's the only downside to building something up like this. You're going to have stuff settling in lines. That's just the way it works. So I did pick up two concealers that I'm going to share with you. I got the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. Oh, that was a lot of fuzz. This is kind of like very hyped up at the moment. And then the other one I grabbed is the old school Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. Yeah, I had one in my drawer that was probably 3 or 4 years old, so I threw it out because it was pretty gross. The formula was like super thick, and I decided to give it another shot. I feel like I have hair all over my face. Scoot a little closer so you guys can see what this looks like on my skin. I mean, you can see how deep this smile line looks, but other than that, like other than the deep set lines, look how good that looks. It looks really, really beautiful. Kind of living for it. I think I want to go ahead and use the Bare With Me Serum Concealer for this video. Yesterday, I used my finger, and I feel like that's probably the better way to go with this one because it's a pump. There's no doe foot or anything like that. I don't really love that, but I get it. It's because of the consistency of it, but I think I'm still going to use a sponge because I'm thick. Okay, I'm going to take like the tiniest bit. We'll start off there. A lot different from what I usually do. And I'm going to place it there and there. And notice how it's really close to like the foundation shade. I didn't get one that was super brightening. Excuse you, sir. No, you're not coming up here. Give me that. Let's start there and just see how it does. It really wasn't terrible last night. It actually looked pretty decent underneath the eyes. It's just not as full coverage as what I usually go for. You can still see, number one, the bag underneath my eye. It definitely didn't cover that up. Especially when I put my head down. Holy shit. But for the most part, it really doesn't look too terrible. I mean, if I'm going for that more natural, me natural, I know that's funny. But if I'm going for that kind of look, then that's not a bad concealer. I just don't like the fact that I have to keep tapping out these lines because of the foundation. But again, I put on way too much. I'm trying to stay away from doing that big-ass triangle underneath my eyes because it's really not flattering. When you see a bunch of brightness here and it comes all the way down the side of your nose and it shoots up this way, like it's just really not a flattering look. Not on me anyway. Some people might be able to pull it off, but it doesn't look good on me. And it's just kind of how, you know, we were trained to do our under eye concealer, well, years ago, and it just kind of stuck with me for whatever reason. So, I'm trying to get away from doing it so heavy. It's going to take a little bit of practice to get out of that practice. I remember it looking so nice last night, like before I powdered, that I got mad at myself for powdering, because then it started to look not bad, but just not as good. I think we need to move on to a powder. Let me see if I've forgot anything. I've got like stuff everywhere. I don't have a new powder, so I'm going to take the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Powder, which is one of my favorites. I use it all the time. And I'm going to set my face pretty good. And then I'm probably going to go over top with the Dior Powder No Powder, just because it gives this really gorgeous, like soft focused finish. Gonna do that, and then when we come back, we'll jump into a couple more products. So I just wanted to show you how smooth my skin is looking. Like, what? Super smooth. It doesn't look terrible. Yeah. Setting it like that really did help, like with the lines and whatnot. I haven't even put the Dior powder over top yet. I'm gonna do a very, very, very small amount because I don't want this to look heavy. Just gonna do one of them numbers. So I'm pretty sure I told you in one of my recent videos that I ordered something off Mercari. It was the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Volume number 4, because the one that I have, I've completely depleted the bronzer in it. Well, this is my replacement. And there's the bronzer. So here's my original. Now, first and foremost, for how much are these little things? Like 80 bucks? Do y'all see this shit? Well, now it doesn't want to come out. Any other time it's just hanging out in the palette. What are the odds of that? It's never stuck together in here. Okay, well, I don't want to pull it out if it's stuck in there. First and foremost, the mirror inside is usually like floating about in here. It isn't really, I don't know why all of a sudden it wants to adhere now, making a liar out of me, but I promise you, normally it's just hanging out in the palette. But do you see how much I've used the bronzer shade? It's about gone. I've got like one little tiny strip left, and that's really all I've used out of this palette. I've got pretty much most of the blush and almost all of the powder left. In my replacement that I bought on Mercari, the bronzer's full, the blushes are pretty much full. This powder is almost full, but I'm missing these two, which is fine because those are full in my palette. So, anyhow, long story short, I just want the bronzer shade because it's my very favorite bronzer shade, and you can't buy it as a single. So, I'm going to get some bronzer on, and then I'm going to share with you a blush that I recently purchased, and then we'll move it along to eyeshadow and all that jazz. So, what are you doing back there? You get back there. No, you roll. So I booked a beach trip for me and my kids for late summer, and I'm really excited about it because I originally wasn't going to go on like that hefty of a vacation just because it's really expensive. And I know there's other things that need attention right now and need money. But you know what? Like, you only get time with your family when they're young once. And then they grow up, and then they move on, and they want nothing to do with you, and I'm going to cry and die a lonely death. Anyway, I feel like while I have the time with them, I should be doing stuff like that. And if I have the means to, you know. So I'm really excited about it. Just spending a week with them at the beach, and yeah, right? That bronzer just hits different. My skin looks very radiant, not in a bad way, not dewy, but radiant, and I'm okay with that as long as it doesn't look greasy. So now I want to share with you I was going to say a bleach, I'm not really sure why. I want to share with you a blush that I grabbed and I haven't tried yet, but it's all the rage right now on TikTok, so you know, I had to get it. I wanted to try it. I'm a blush fanatic anyway. You know, I've never ordered from Dior before, like the actual Dior website. Usually if I'm buying Dior, it's through Sephora. Imagine my surprise when I ordered one single blush from Diora. I'm just gonna hang it up right now. Imagine my surprise when I got one blush from Dior in this packaging. I mean, I felt like a special bougie bitch when I got this. Like, what the hell? So, first of all, it comes with this. It almost looks like a car contract, right? You got all that paperwork, like, okay, we're financing a blush. It's kind of what it felt like. You know, you got all this paperwork to go with your one blush. You got all this little fancy Dior paper in here, and then there's your little blush. I was a little disappointed when I saw how small it was. These are pretty pricey. Anyhow, if you're on TikTok, you've probably heard Rosy Glow from Dior mentioned maybe a couple times. And it looks really beautiful, and like I said, I'm a complete blush freak, so I had to try it. And honestly, it's not exactly a shade that I would have ever picked for myself, like just blindly picked. It's like a bubblegum pink. It's very bright. It honestly, it looks like, what's that bubblegum? Bazooka? It's a bubblegum pink, and it's just not a shade that I would typically gravitate towards for a blush, but we gonna try it out. Actually, there was a peachy coral shade, and I almost grabbed that instead, and I'm kind of wishing I would have after seeing this, just because this really isn't my jam, but never know, it might look a lot different on, so we're gonna give it a go. Okay, so I'm gonna dip in here. Like, it's such a tiny little blush. Oh, it's light. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually really beautiful. And you know, it's crazy because when you put it on, it doesn't really look as light as it does in the pan. Wow. Oh, I'm digging that. See? And I would have never thought to just grab this one on my own. That's wild. I want the peachy one. You know me, to the next level, always. I love that. Thank God. It does have a scent to it, so if you're sensitive to fragrance in your products, you might not like that. It's got that like fragrant Dior scent to it. But I really like that. I really like the tone, and I think it looks beautiful on. Ooh, okay, Dior. Hell yeah. TikTok got it right this time. You know, sometimes TikTok's not right. Sometimes it's very wrong, in my opinion. Now, I did pick up several eyebrow products. Actually, neither one are newer products. They're newer shades to me. So I grabbed the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Dark Brown. I've only ever tried soft and medium brown before, so I got dark brown. And I got it because of the 21 Days of Beauty sale from Ulta. It was half off, so I paid like 11 bucks for it, which is a really fantastic price for any kind of brow product, because normally, even when you're buying drugstore, you're paying probably 10 or 11 bucks, so why not get ABH? And you know, I used to hate the Brow Wiz, so much so that I gave some of mine away, and then I started using it recently just because I wanted to use up what I had instead of spending more money. And I actually really liked it, so I got that. And then I also grabbed the Milani Weekend Brow, but this one is in the shade Soft Brown. The one that I have is dark brown, and it looks black. So I'm hoping that Soft Brown is not like super light brown. I got a feeling it might be. I might have gone way too far in the other direction with it. I probably should have gotten the middle shade. So just over like the past year, I would say, I've really gotten into using the felt tip pen liners for my brows. I just love how I can get those hair-like strokes with the pen. This is perfect. I feel like between that and using a dark brown pencil, that will be a great combination. Awesome. We'll find out. I haven't put it on the brows yet. And I did not powder the under eyes just because, like I said, yesterday when I was playing around and I powdered, it looked a little heavy. And it's not wearing the greatest underneath the eyes, I ain't gonna lie. The concealer, the Bear With Me concealer. So first I'm going to run some Gimme Brow through the brows just to get some fibers in there, give them a little bit more volume, and then after I've done that, we'll go in with Brow Wiz and then Milani. I just don't like that I can't get very precise with it, but I can always fix that, especially if I'm going to use the brow pen. ABH has a brow pen as well, and I don't care for it. Number one, it's too damn expensive for what it is. Okay, now that I have that laid down, it looks crazy, okay? I'm not exactly happy with what happened here. It looks crazy. The one eyebrow's always up higher than the other. They're uneven. Cousins, not sisters or twins. Let's move on to the Milani Weekend Brow. I'm just going to add some hair strokes in here. Oh, I love the color of it already. So much better than the shade I already have, which is the dark brown. That one's way too dark for my brows. But honestly, if you're looking for a good brow pen and you can get away with one of these shades from Milani, I would highly recommend doing that as opposed to spending $20 some on one, or however much the ABH one is. This one's a lot cheaper. Does the exact same thing. Not all of them are created equal, okay? But this one is shaped literally the same. Actually, it might be even a better shape. Felt tip. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and finish this real quick. I like adding that little bit of fluff. Oh yeah, the top part of my brow. Just makes it look just a little bit more realistic. Not really, but a little bit. Nice and bold. Okay, moving on from the brows. The next thing we're going to do is eyeshadow, and I'm really excited, but I have quite a bit to share with you before we decide which palette or which shades we're using. So let's do that now. Like I mentioned, I do have several eyeshadow products to share with you that I've purchased since the beginning of January. So let's first start with singles. Now, my true love is with the shiny, shifty, sparkly, eye-catching, shimmery, amazing duochrome multichrome singles. That's where my love is. So I did pick up several of those types of shadows. I grabbed some from Shine by SD, which is going to be the top row and then some of the second row. These two plus the bottom row is going to be from Touch of Glam. So far what I've noticed from the two formulas, Shine by SD is a very dry type of formula, which is really not my favorite. I haven't worn them yet, so I really can't speak to staying power or how they look on the eyelids. I don't know. All I've done is finger swatch them. They're beautiful. They're just a little dry. I prefer my eyeshadow formula to be smooth and buttery, and even the putty-like consistency is better in my opinion than a really dry, dusty type of formula. And I just feel like the Shine by SD is just very, very dry. But I'm not knocking it. That doesn't mean they're bad shadows. It's just not the type of formula that I typically go for. So I still need to give them a try. I can't say anything else other than what they feel like. The Touch of Glam shadows, on the other hand, they are super buttery. A little goes a very long way. Wow is all I can say. See, you can't even see it. The full magic. You're not even able to see it. I'd have to like turn the lights down low and turn sideways, and I'm not doing all that, but they're beautiful. I just like how they're super smooth. They all look pink. Okay, promise they're not, but they're really beautiful. I also got this one here, which is Hello Hollow. It's a holographic shade. It's now the second holographic eyeshadow that I have in my, well, the second brand of holographic eyeshadows that I have in my collection. The first one I grabbed was from Glam Shop. These are just really, it's almost like a cream shadow. It's not almost, it is like a cream shadow. Are we able to catch any of it? Probably not. You're just going to have to take my word for it. It's a very creamy formula. Very finely milled, like holographic particles in there. It's not glitter. But I do feel like I like my Glam Shop one better. I just feel like the holographic shift and the effect is better with the Glam Shop shadow. But this one's not bad. Anyhow, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. If you're interested in watching looks come together with these shades, or a combination of the shades, or one of those shades, let me know down below. I'm probably going to do some content in the future dedicated to more of my singles, because I love them so much. But for now, I just wanted to share with you what I grabbed. These next two palettes I've already told you all about, told you that I had them. I just haven't used them on my channel yet because I haven't really used them yet. Well, that's a lie. I've used one. The Blend Bunny Blends and the Blend Bunny the Dollhouse. So I've used the Dollhouse. I wore it before I went to work. I think I've worn this twice. I'll show you what they look like really quickly, just in case you don't know. Just a very beautiful, neutral eyeshadow palette. I really like their formula. It's very pigmented and buttery, and it blends really well. You've got some shimmers up top and on the bottom. You can see here the monochromatic rose, which I really like that, but you can mix and match a little bit too and get a decent eye look, you know, not doing that. So anyhow, it's a beautiful palette. I just need to get more use out of it. And then the Blends palette is just a rainbow palette, and it's stunning. And I haven't had a chance to use this one yet, but I really want to. It's gorgeous. Another palette that I'm really excited to have, but haven't had a chance to use it yet, is the Hella palette from Oden's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist. This is the collab that they came out with, I think, last month. Like, look how beautiful this palette is. Had to have it. Haven't used it. I wanted to film a full video with it, but then everybody and their sister had their reviews up because they got PR from Oden's Eye, which is fine. But then I felt like, what's the point in me rushing to get my review up when mostly everybody already had that type of video up. So I figured I'd just use that in future content. The next palette that I want to share with you that I just purchased, just received it today, is the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. And, you know, when I first saw it, I was a little hesitant, which, look, I'm a sucker for Natasha. If you all have been here for a while, you already know that about me. But look how beautiful this palette is. Like, I can't help it, okay? I've got very little self-control when it comes to Natasha Denona shadows. So, I'm really glad I have it. I haven't even touched it yet. I wanted to do that on camera with you all for the very first time. So, I almost wish we were in a live and you all could tell me which one to use. I kind of want to do pastel just because it's newer, and we can do the Hella palette in another video. Should we go pastel? I think we should. I kind of have like a collection of Natasha, not kind of, I do have a collection of Natasha Denona palettes, and now like when they come out, I just feel like I need them, which is not, it's problematic. So to start off with, I'm going to take the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. This is a really fantastic base to use for Natasha Denona shadows, specifically for her cream to powder shadows. And when I watched her swatch video on her Instagram stories, she said there was a lot more of the cream to shadow formula in this palette than prior palettes. So just by looking at it, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I see at least 4. There might be more than that, but I see at least 4. So it's not a very good idea to use like the ABH primer, the Juvia's Place primer, P. Louise. It's not a good idea to use something tacky when you're going to be using these cream shadows because it mixes kind of funny. It doesn't blend very well in my experience. Now that's just me. You do you, boo. If it works for you, do what works for you. But I find that either putting down a concealer and setting it or using something like the NARS that sets and is dry works best for this type of formula. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that on the lids and then we will get into an eye look. I'm excited to play with this because like I said, I haven't even touched it yet. So I've been debating whether or not to do some like vlog style content with you all. Every time I think about doing it, like I've filmed a couple. I filmed one at the beach from last year. I filmed one recently. But I always ask myself, like, who in the hell wants to see me living my daily life? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I have this exciting lifestyle or anything. I'm just like your average mother that goes to work and has a YouTube channel. Like, I'm not anybody... I don't know. I don't know if it would be exciting enough that you all would actually care enough to see a vlog. But if it's something that you all would be interested in, let me know. Hell, I might upload one anyway, just because I took the time to film it. But let me know. Let me know if you would be interested, since I already have some footage I can put into one. I just keep asking myself, like, who asked for that? Who asked for it? Does anybody care? I mean, everybody's different. I actually like watching stuff like that. It doesn't matter how big someone's following is. I just think it's interesting to see how different people live their lives. I'm nosy, I guess. Oh, you know what? We need to do the... We need to pull that off. I don't know how people leave these on. It's so satisfying to pull it off. Look at that. Satisfying. What do I want to do? Like, look how pretty this palette is. She's so beautiful. That's a really beautiful pink, isn't it? It's icy and glittery. It's pretty. Actually, her duochromes feel like the cream to powder. Hold on. I need to check and see if they are. They don't feel like the regular duochromes. They're more of like a wet formula. Did she switch it up on us? Actually, really beautiful. Maybe she switched up her formula a little bit. No, Limoncello doesn't feel like that. Duet does. But Starlit, oh man, that one's calling my name. It's not exactly as intense as I was hoping, the top shade. Because when you look at it in the pan, it looks super pigmented, right? Like this bright, vibrant. I mean, it's okay. I need to stop. What do I want to do? I will say though, it's a little hard to make a cohesive look with this. If you really look in here, I mean, only if you're doing like a two shadow look. That's the only way this is really going to work. Or like a one shadow all over the lid blown out type of look. Or if you're doing something really editorial, right? Like, there's really no way to build up any kind of depth. The only deep shade we have is this like eggplant purple here. But you can't really build up depth with every look with this eggplant purple. So it's one of those palettes where it's like, it's meant to be pastel, Michelle. Let it be pastel. Don't try to make it deep and dark and blown out and sultry and all that stuff. Like, let it be what it is. I do like the textures of these shimmers better than prior palettes. I've noticed in prior palettes, some of them are really dry and just very underwhelming, but these feel nice. These feel like they have some substance to them, sustenance. Now, I could play it safe, which is what I really want to do, just because it's the easiest option. I could take this shade here, which is Feather. I could blow this up into the crease. This is Bora. And then I could put this shade all over the lid. A two shadow and a shimmer look. That would be super simple. It would be pretty. That would work. Or I could challenge myself a bit. Or I could do another like monochromatic. I could do the greens. I could do the pink. Top it off with the duochrome. Like, those are the obvious looks when I look at this. Or even throw the duochrome with the purple. Do I want to play it safe? Now, mind you, I haven't seen any videos with this palette at all. I want this to be truly representative of how I would use it. I feel like when you watch other people's reviews before you do your own, when you're a content creator, then the way you see it is a little bit different, right? You don't see it quite the way you would as if you were a consumer just looking at it for the first time, trying to be creative, whatever. So this is truly like my thoughts and feelings on this palette. I've watched nothing. I'm being drawn towards a couple different shades. I'm being drawn towards the purple, the periwinkle, this shade Dainty up here because it's real sparkly. Also the duochrome. Like, those are the shades I'm being drawn to the most. I'm going to take Feather into the crease. Yep, this is what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. Feather into the crease. I want to play with the periwinkle and the purple and the duochrome and the sparkly. Can't tell me nothing. I think that this palette is just supposed to be fun, you know? Not to be taken too serious. So, at least that's how I interpret it. Let's dip into Feather, which is that really beautiful mauve lilac, cross between mauve and lilac shade. And I'm going to start buffing that into the crease. Very light, which it's a pastel palette, so that's to be expected. I mean, you can build this up a little bit. You keep on going in with it. Now I'm questioning my choice to use the periwinkle. I'm like, well, should I just build up with that purple? Because now I kind of want to. Oh, it's pretty though, huh? Let's do it anyway. Going against what my brain is telling me to do here. I'm going to go in with my Sonia G Crease Pro Brush for this. So let's go into Bubble and start blowing that up into the crease. I think that's really cute, actually. Huh. Okay, I think what I want to do, like, do I even want to use the deep purple now, or should I just keep it like that? I'm going to start by packing that periwinkle on the outer corner here. It's just such a pretty blue. I really like that. I'm going to try packing that on just to try to get a little bit more pigment down, because it is very light. But it's meant to be, you know? Let's do that for this outer edge here. Oh, yeah. It just gives a different look because it's very soft. And I'm just kind of blending the front so it's not going to be harsh when I do this. Okay, now I'm going to go into Duet, which is that really beautiful duochrome. It's the pinky blue duochrome. And we're going to start putting it towards the front of my lid. It's still pretty predictable. It's still pretty matchy-matchy. But I really like it. I think it's really pretty. Kind of reminds me of cotton candy. If you're looking for like out of this world shimmer, like something jaw-dropping, I wouldn't say this is the look. So it's not my typical look. But it's still really pretty. Yeah. Soft, simple. I like it. I just feel undone, you know? I'm just so used to doing a lot more. But you know what? It's nice to switch it up from time to time, right? And I'm going to take that really beautiful duochrome illusion, that iridescent, and we're going to use that as my inner corner. I just think it's really soft and subtle and understated. And I'm kind of here for it because it's not at all what I go for. I like bold, typically. So if you don't want something that's soft and pastel and understated, then you're probably not going to like this one. Okay, so that's what we have so far after I threw some colors on the lower lash line. I'm going to repeat this on the other eye, and when I come back, we will get into a brand new mascara. It's just a very soft look, but I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. You can tell how much I really got in there with this periwinkle shade or this cornflower blue, whatever you want to call it. I really love this shade though. It's just pretty. So this is only one eye look. I plan on doing a separate video where I do several looks, really focusing on this palette, seeing what I can do with it. But I just wanted to play a little bit today, share some of these products with you. So to finish off this look, I picked up the MAC Stack mascara. This is their new mascara. And I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I really wanted to give it a try. It's a pretty intense looking component here. Pretty interesting, but I'm going to go ahead and curl the lashes and we'll get my thoughts on this. I haven't touched it at all yet, so I have no idea how it's going to perform. Let's see what we're working with here, MAC Stack. That's an interesting looking wand. Oh, okay. It looks like a very thick gloppy formula. Alright. I'm really picky about my mascaras too. Okay, so that's one coat. I mean, do you see the difference? Holy shit. Wow. That's pretty good. Does it flake? Does it smudge? Does it smear? Does it fall? I don't know. Let's do the other eye and then we'll try to do another coat. It says gravity defying volume, builds endlessly, lash lift and length. We'll see about that. Now, what I typically find is that the more you layer, the more clumpy it gets, and then my lashes start to fall. So that would be fantastic if it didn't do that. I'm not going to hold my breath. It's just scary when you first take the wand out because it's pretty messy. Usually formulas like this don't work too well for me. I mean, but to be honest with you, that's pretty decent just in and of itself. Just leaving it like that is pretty nice. I'm going to try a second coat over here. Maybe I need to dip back in. I don't like it to be real thick and clumpy. And a lot of it comes off on this brush. It's making me nervous. I don't like the end of this brush. The end of this brush is like, I don't know how to explain it. Spiky? Messy? All the above? Alright, let's see what happens here. See, I don't like the clumpiness of it. I liked it better with the one coat. Dang it. What I find is the more you put on, the shorter they look, right? See what I mean? I would say if you don't like the clumpiness, stick to the one coat. The one coat was actually pretty decent. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there before it gets totally out of control. I mean, I don't hate it. The more I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute, but is it bad? It's not exactly what I like, but it's not terrible. I gotta keep playing around with it. I still think that doing one coat, one good coat with this is probably the best option for me. Unless you like the heavy, clumpy lashes. I'm gonna throw a little bit of something in the waterline. I forgot to do this inner corner, so I'm gonna fix that. And then we have lip products left to talk about, and then we'll be finished with this video. This is going to be a monster of a video, just like I knew it would be. we had a lot to go over. You know, I've accumulated some stuff over the past several months. And I really haven't had a whole lot of time to film and talk with you guys about that stuff. So you guys get, instead of, you know, several videos throughout the month, you get one long monster video. You're welcome, I guess. So I do want to make note really quickly on the base makeup, because I've been wearing this now for probably like the last 6 hours. And I'm just now starting to get a little bit dewy in the middle of my forehead. Not too terrible for having oily skin. Okay, the last things that I purchased this month were some lip products. So I think last month, or maybe the month before, I grabbed one of these Maybelline Ultimate Color Sensational Matte Lipsticks. I had grabbed the shade More Mocha, I think. It was just a really beautiful, like, brown shade, okay? But I loved the formula. It's very matte, very long wearing, very smooth. Love the shade. Just a beautiful lipstick. So they were buy two, get one free at Ulta. So I bought two and I got one free. I got the shades More Stone. Just a really beautiful nude shade. I also grabbed More Taupe, and this one is a little deeper. I wouldn't call it More Taupe. It doesn't really look that much different from the one I just swatched, but it is. And then this one is called More Scarlet, and this one's bright ass red, like scarlet. So for the look I have on currently, the only shade that really makes sense is More Stone, because this one's more cool toned. So I gotta be honest with you, I was going to use the shade that I just bought from Maybelline, but it just doesn't really go along with this airy type of pink. It's just a little bit too deep for that. You know what I mean? Like, I could probably pull it off, but it's just a little bit too deep for what I would typically like for a look like this. So I'm actually going to take a Huda Beauty lipstick that I haven't used in a very long time. This one's in the shade Prom Night, and it's just more of a muted pink as opposed to the other one, which has a little bit more brown in there. So I'm going to take the ColourPop Lippie Pencil. This one's in the shade Oh Snap. I'm going to take this and line my lips and go in with this Huda Beauty lipstick. Okay, one last finishing touch here to this look. So I don't have a new highlighter to share with you, but I got to finish off this look. So this is from IBY, and it's called Private Jet. And it's just a beautiful pink highlighter. And I got this from Ipsy, I believe. It is beautiful. I don't know if they still make this one, but I have seriously considered picking up a backup. It's just beautiful. Like, look at that. Yes, indeed. Now that Dior blush has a glow as well. Y'all know me. I'm extra. I need a little something special to go on top. A little something extra. My goodness. That's just pretty. Okay, I think I've played long enough. I think I got everything down. Let's do a really quick recap on everything that I shared with you that was newer products and my thoughts on those products. So let's start off with the Melt Marshmallow Primer. I don't know if this did anything extra for my skin, but I will say it didn't break down my makeup. I wouldn't say it prolonged the wear of my makeup. It didn't make my skin radiant or anything like that. I wouldn't really say it helped. I don't think it did much of anything, if I'm just being honest. But normally by now my skin is a lot more oily, and I don't know if it's the way I powdered, or if it's the foundation, or if it's got something to do with the primer, or if it's a combination of all of those things. But my makeup is not breaking down yet, and we're about 7 hours in, which is pretty damn good for my skin. So I don't know. I'm going to keep using this to see what I think about it. I don't think it's terrible. I just don't know if it did anything at all. In terms of the NARS Light Reflecting, I keep forgetting what it's called. The NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I really enjoy this. I think it looks very skin-like. It has really nice coverage to it. If you don't have to set it, it's got a really beautiful glow. It's not like oily looking. It's just very dewy and fresh, and it's a beautiful foundation. I really wish I didn't have to set it, but I do. But in setting it, it still looks really beautiful, and it's worn very, very well. Honestly, I'm shocked because normally when it comes to this type of foundation, within like 2 or 3 hours, I want to take it off because it wears so terribly. This is wearing like a dream. So this is probably one of my favorite new foundations, seriously. The NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer doesn't exactly look stellar underneath the eyes after it's been on there for a while. Like after the first 10 minutes or so, it looks fantastic. But you wait a little bit longer, more like 30 minutes in, and yeah, it's not looking fantastic anymore. Now, I threw a lot of color underneath the eyes to cover up this, but it's not my favorite. I'm going to have to play around a little bit more with it. It's got decent coverage. It's more like a medium, and I don't know. I put it over top of my Becca Under Eye Corrector, which is how I wear all of my concealers. It's just not my absolute favorite. I've definitely had worse. I would put this like in the middle category, like, it's okay. I'll probably still continue to wear it, but it's definitely not a fave. The Dior Rosy Glow Blush in pink. I love this. I think it looks so pretty. It's got this really gorgeous, just healthy pink glow. And it's Dior, so I feel luxe, and I don't know, I really enjoy it, and I'm glad that I grabbed it. It makes me want to get the coral shade. The Natasha Denona Pastel palette. I mean, I've only created one eye look with it, but it was a lot of fun. I had 0 issues. It blended perfectly. The cream to powder shade gave me 0 problems. I really do think that the key to wearing this palette is using the right brushes and putting it over the proper base. Again, try putting it over a dry base like NARS, or try putting it over top of like a set concealer or something like that. Don't go in with a tacky primer. I feel like you're going to regret it using these more like creamy shades. But I think this is really pretty. It's easy. It's simple. It's definitely nothing elaborate. I definitely could have gotten this probably with shades already in my collection. But I love Natasha Denona. I don't regret grabbing this. And if you all want me to, I will film a full video dedicated to this palette. Just let me know. Last but not least, the MAC Stack Mascara. The more I look at my lashes, the more I kind of like what it did for them. It is a little clumpy, but not like spidery clumpy. Like the more I'm looking, they just look full, right? They don't look terrible. Did you see what they look like before? They look like trash. So, I don't know. I'm kind of digging this. I'm just wondering how long this formula is going to stay good. You know, after like a month or so, mascara formulas really start to lose their momentum. They really start to break down. They either get really dry, clumpy, just not good. So, hopefully I have a little bit more wear time with this mascara because it's nice. It's kind of growing on me. I like it. So that is going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I know this was a long one. I really just wanted to chat with you all. I wanted to play with some new makeup. I wanted to share what I have picked up over the past few months. I do have some more stuff coming in over the next week or two. I'll film another video when that happens. And then I'm going to be not buying makeup again for a little while. So, you know, I go through those little spurts where I won't buy for a month or so, and then I'll buy a couple things, and I won't buy for a month or so, and then I'll buy a couple things. So I really need to pump the brakes. You know, I'm looking forward to my family vacation that's coming in September. I need to make sure I have the money to afford that vacation, and that's definitely a lot more important than makeup. So anyhow, thanks again so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed yet, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you do that, tap the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.